This is a video response to one of the commenters and viewers for the outreach program. I wanted to do a response to you as soon as I could. I own a construction company, so it's extremely taxing, but this is very, very, very important. And I love the fact that you took the time out to do your comment or post your comment and explain in pretty good detail what you're going through and where you are at this transitional part of your life. So Nathan, nice to meet you. So I'm gonna go, I think it'd be good if I read. I'm gonna kind of turn my back from the camera. Actually, I can, my office is a little messy. I have a lot going on. So I'm gonna read from the comments and then we'll go from there. So it says, I'm interested in starting an outreach program for at-risk teens and young adults, but don't know where to start. As an adolescent and young adult, I surround myself with all the wrong people, which we all do, and made all the wrong decisions, which ultimately landed me in prison. During that time, 2 police officers went very much out of their way to try and steer me in the right direction. However, Lou Lacey helped me get a job, and he picked me up from alternative school and gave me a ride to work. The other officer, Tom Hay, would try to help in any way he thought would help me turn my life around. I went to visit him today, and I seen that his health isn't very good and was very saddened. I've been doing a lot of soul searching, trying to figure out what my purpose is, as I am not happy with the career I'm in now, and feel that what I'm doing is not what I was meant to do. I want to make a difference in my community, but don't know where to start, and any input or information to help me in this would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. So, first of all, thank you for that. I'm gonna kind of take my glasses on and off just because of the glare from the light. But so starting an outreach program, it is a little difficult. I hate to say that, but it is a little difficult. You can do it. The reason why is because I feel like when you're doing outreach, you're doing God's work. And to be frank, we are all human. And when you're not getting like monetary compensation for it, it becomes a little bit more taxing. Let's just say that. So you're gonna have a lot of speed bumps in the beginning, but I think that if you start small and then work your way up, you're gonna do just fine. I'm not saying that you can't start with something massive. It's just the higher the goal that you're gonna set, if you're not really prepared for those speed bumps, it could really discourage you. So it's good to just start very, very small. Now you want to focus on at-risk teens and young adults. I think that that's really good because that's before they get into their adulthood. This is when their hormones are freaking raging. So installing that seed like the 2 officers did for you and putting that seed in their brain, like, hey, doing good things for them, helping them out, doing things here and there, it will potentially become a harvest. I know it sounds very church-like, but that's what they say in church. You plant a seed, and then hopefully one day the Lord, and you keep watering, and hopefully the Lord will bless with, a plant that will prosper. However, every seed that you plant does not hatch, so that can be a bit discouraging as well. And also, this is one thing too, teens and young adults, and that you are a male, I'm assuming that you're a male, it might be a little bit more difficult, only because, like me as a woman, I can pretty much approach anybody. I hate that that's the case, but it is the case. I could approach a kid on the street and I'm not going to be kind of looked at weird. So just make sure that when you're doing this, you're approaching it in the right way, that there's other people around, just so that nothing weird happens. Unfortunately, it does happen, but that's just to be careful. But that's the case with that. So the cool thing about it is that, we've all been through stuff. We've all, have our story. We all have things that we went through. And the good thing is that there's really good people out there. And the 2 officers, because they went out of their way and they helped you and they tried to help you along your way, now you want to pay it forward and help other people. So this is really good. Even if you help 1 or 2 people a year, it's going to seem minute considering all the other nonprofits and organizations out there. It's going to seem extremely minute. However, it's not. All those people add up. And then 1 year your goal might be 5 kids, and then 10 kids, 15, 20, you just don't know. So you just want to just not get discouraged in the beginning. I think the best thing is to start small, only also because you can kind of get your groove, you can get your mode going. And you want to do that because it's so new that you don't really know how to say it or what you want quite yet, but once you get the feel for it, it's going to be very, very easy. Now, so you're wanting to change your career and go from doing whatever that you're doing now into doing this for your primary income. For any business, it takes at bare minimum 5 years to start getting start making, paying yourself some payroll. At least minimum 5 years. So expect that. Maybe even longer because it is a nonprofit. So you want to kind of set up all of the 501c3 thing, all of that, your nonprofit organization through the Corporation Commission, and do all of that. But you don't need that right now. There's a lot of things that happen, which that's for a whole nother video, that happen where if you have an accountant that's doing your 501c3, you have to keep that up, because if they don't, then you don't have it, and then it falls through the cracks, and getting it back is almost close to impossible. So experience of dealing with that currently. So that I wouldn't focus on that too much yet. I would try to get your groove, figure out what you want to do with these at-risk teens and young adults. Because you have to find out a way to gain access to them. And when you're dealing with underage kids, it becomes kind of touchy because people, they're minors. So you have to find a way that you're going to bring them together. Now you could do something, I don't know anything about your background. You said that you went to prison, so you could possibly talk to the police officers that you're connected with, and see if they are in contact with any juvenile police officers or juvenile detention officers, and see if they have if they can connect you in some way. Maybe they can do something like that. Or what you can also do, you can do somewhat of an hour group every week or every 2 weeks or once a month. I did that once a month. You'll meet up with kids at a school nearby, and you'll just meet there once a month, and you guys will have a new subject to talk about. Or even if you don't have a subject to talk about, everybody just talks about whatever, and you guys veer into different avenues, and eventually something comes up. When I did the youth groups, I hosted youth groups I partnered with a school on the West Valley here in Arizona, and I would meet once a month with them, and I'll try to have a subject for them, but then we always end up steering off because I'm not a teacher, that's not what I do. So I would find a subject to talk about, but then we always would veer off into a different subject. We were talking about bullying and at-home abuse, and there was it was so deep. Because these young adults are dealing with real life stuff, and it's hard because you can't talk about this stuff at school. You're not allowed to talk about it at school, because then you have CPS come into your home causing issues, and then it's the whole cycle all over again. You only know that if you've been in the system, or if you've almost been in the system, or you know people in the system, you know how this goes. So I think that might be very, very, very beneficial for you if you pick. You don't have to. I did both. I did male and female. I was focusing more on female, but the boys wanted to come in too, so we did both, it was very, very, very beneficial. So I would let anybody come if you like, or if you want, you can just do males primarily. So just figure out what your demographics are, who you want to target. What you do, you want young teen, at-risk youth, and then I would print out flyers if you can, on your, you know, days off, you print out like a bunch of flyers. You can make them yourself online with Canva, I think. And go to your local barbershops, go to the YMCAs, go to the church, because they all know families that are having some issues. Or even walk around like lower income apartment complexes. That's what I do. I go to I'll go to like lower income apartment complexes, and I'll just walk around and see if anybody needs something. And you'll just put your flyers up everywhere, and then you'll be surprised. Eventually you'll get a lot of people coming. And then once you break off from there and you get a pretty good amount of people coming, I always love to do video, and I love photos, because then it shows proof that I'm actually doing what I'm saying that I'm doing. I know everyone's like, no, you don't, these people are humiliated. With them being minors, if they're going to be on camera, they need to sign off on, their parents need to sign off on forms saying, hey, if you're going to be on camera, then, you know, we can use the video and the photo however we choose. If not, you would want the camera facing you and everybody kind of away from the camera, so that when you edit, no one's faces are shown. Then at least there's proof that these meetings are happening and what's happening in the meeting, so that if anything does happen, anything comes up and you're like, why are you talking about this, why are you talking about that? Well, here's the video, it's live, you can see it. But dealing with minors is very, very touchy, because people are just too happy. But if you don't own anything, then you don't have to worry about it. I wouldn't worry about that. So that's where I would start. That's exactly where I would start. Now that might not touch you. You know, you might say, yeah, it sounds good, but that just doesn't, it's not touching my heart and my soul. Which you need something that's going to really touch your soul and pull at your heartstrings. And if that's not going to help, then do something that is specifically geared to you. So, I mean, if you're into sports, do something specific to sports. Do something specific to, if you're into video games, something specific to video games. Use that as your way to get into the heads and the minds of these young teen adults. You have to find a creative way to do it. So if what I just said, I try to make things extremely simple, because then if I make something simple, it's like, you know, it's pretty, okay, I'll just do this. But if that doesn't really touch you, then find something that's really geared to your interests, because maybe that's what it is, and that's going to get you really, really motivated to keep going. And sometimes what you have to do is you have to start it. Once you start it, then you'll get another idea, then another idea, and then it becomes this phenomenal thing that's well thought out, and detailed. You know, but you have to start the process in order to get to that really refined thing, you know. So I would start there, and then work on getting your 501c3, all of that, so that if any money does come into your organization, that it's all right off for them. And then also, I think it's like up to a certain amount, but and then also after that, you can, let's say you started bringing in some serious money and people were donating, and companies were donating, and organizations were donating, then you can start paying yourself a payroll. Yeah, that's that. Let me see, was there anything else? I think that was pretty much it, but I hope I answered your question. But you know, when it comes to this type of stuff, I don't know if you're religious or not, but like I said before, I consider this God's work. I consider giving to anybody where you're not getting any monetary gain, or you're not, like, you know, doing it just to get some promo out there for your own personal benefits. I think we all have some sort of that in us, because we're human, but you're gonna get repaid like 1,000-fold. It always pays back, you know. So you have to understand that you know, in the beginning it's going to be a little difficult, even though you have the right heart for it, and you're like, you know, this is what I want to do. You're gonna get tried. You're really gonna get tried. I mean, I remember, this is like a brief little story. I remember when I did a one for this girl, and I got donations specifically for her kids, and I was like, I was excited because I got a lot of stuff, and it was a friend who gifted it to me or donated it to me to give to the person. And it was clothes from like infant all the way up to like 12 or something like that. 12 or 13. No, I think it was infant to 6 years old, not 12. There was a 12-year-old, but it was like an infant to 6. And so it was like, it was perfect because it was specifically for her. And she was living at the women's shelter at the time. And so I showed up, I reconfirmed that morning. We got everything packed, I wrapped everything, which wrapping takes hours to do. Wrapped it all myself. Drive all the way across town, 30 minutes. And then she tells me, oh, well, I'm not gonna be there. And I can't tell you the pit in my stomach. And that's gonna happen a lot. It happens pretty much every time something happens. And it's usually something really big. I consider that a test to see if you really want to do good. I think most people would just be like, okay, well, just let me know when the day will work, and then they'll just turn around and go about their day, right? But instead, if somebody no-shows on me or cancels on me last minute, and I already have everything prepped, everything already done, what I do is I go and I just start walking. And I happen to walk, ran into a little girl. She was like, I think she was 12. Little girl, and she had brothers from the age, like from infant all the way up to 12. And so I was able to give all them toys, and I didn't know them. I didn't, if I wouldn't have walked, I would not have been able to give those toys away and those clothes away. And the girl that I originally was going to gift it to, she never reached back out to me, but I was able to find somebody. So and that happens every time. Every time that somebody cancels on me or no shows, doesn't matter what it is, for food, for clothes, for anything. If I just don't let it bother me, just brush my shoulders off and keep it moving, Nathan, welcome to the club. The nice thing is that we're in the third quarter, and the holidays are coming up, and that's a big time to start doing something. So that's when people typically like to donate. But why not just, it doesn't have to be this month or even next month, but try to figure out what your plan is, what your first step is going to be. If you're going to do a meeting, what's your topic, what you're going to start with. Print out a bunch of flyers, like on your printer, or go to the FedEx or the library, wherever they'll print them for you for the least amount of money. And then just start hitting the pavement. If you see kids around, say, hey, I have a meeting on this day, we're going to talk about this, we're going to talk about that. And then always think about what you went through. Try to remember when you were going through whatever you were going through as a young adult. What were your obstacles? What were the problems that you were having? And see if people will start sharing their problems, and just say, it's not going to leave here. We're going to talk about it, we're going to hash it out, we're going to figure out a way, we're going to figure out a plan. Because, you guys can't end up in prison or in jail because of one stupid mistake. So, yeah. How exciting. I love this stuff. But, alright, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope I answered your questions. If you have any more, let me know. If anybody else has any more, let me know. I'm going to try and give you guys more videos as often as I can. I recorded a bunch of videos, like I think in the beginning of the year, and life's just been so busy, which I'm so grateful. But I know that a lot of people are actually really interested in this outreach thing, and I just went out and just started. So if you want different types of videos, just comment below what you would like to know, something that might help you out. Yeah. Alright guys, I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm heading home.